that all men have inalienable rights to think freely, to talk freely, to write freely their own opinions, and to counter or utter or write upon the opinions of others.
This is from the Creed of the Church of Scientology. Hey everybody, I'm Holly, aka the ScientoloGeek, and I want to welcome you all to the 16th episode of Going Over the Student Hat. We are on the second video of the bulletin called Method 9 Word Clearing the Right Way. We are on the section marked the Glib Student. This is page 4, so we're probably going to do the next 2 or 3 pages. I hate this series now. I'm sick of hearing the word student, dictionary, supervisor, everything, and I want this to be over, please. I want to end my misery on the student hat. Anyway, if you like this video, click like. If you like seeing me suffer, click like. Hit subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell, make sure my videos are getting to you, and share this with your friends and family so you can see the pure insanity that Scientology has to offer. So, we are on the section marked the Glib Student.
Glibness is often trained into students by the current educational methods used in schools.
No.
The student is drilled to suppress or go by misunderstood words and to robotically answer back with what the book says.
Isn't that what Scientology does with their auditor training in the drill books? Isn't that what Scientology's all about? Is by robotically answering back with what the book says and not having any kind of originality and creativity?
If he can do this, he's said to be a good student and a good reader.
I will admit, though, that the education system does kind of suck. Because I forget the majority of what I learned in school as soon as I leave the classroom.
With this method, a student's understanding of what he's read is actually considered to be separate from the act of reading. If the educators bother with comprehension at all, it's only to measure memorization, not understanding. In today's schools, students are actually instructed to go right on past words they don't understand, to figure out how to say them, and to continue reading whether they understand the text or not. One textbook even advises, if you find a hard word, read it as best you can and continue to read.
I love how he doesn't cite the fucking textbook.
Students are expressly drilled to suppress reactions such as mispronouncing words, substituting one word for another, inserting extra words, repeating words, and omitting words. These reactions indicate misunderstoods have been bypassed, but under heavy drilling, a student can learn to become robotic enough to suppress even these reactions and read on, leaving misunderstoods piled up behind him.
People in Scientology learn how to do this. To bypass all these physiological phenomena and act like they're happy just so they don't have to get bugged by the fucking course supervisor, not case supervisor.
In all fairness, his teachers were not just trying to victimize him. The discovery of the effects of a misunderstood word and the reasons for such stumbles had not been discovered. Teachers did not know about them. Thus, they invented various drills to force the student not to make these quote-unquote comprehension errors. They did not have the tech or even know what caused these manifestations. You have the reason for them in Method 9 and in Study Tech. You can spot a glib student on Method 9 because he sounds and looks robotic when he reads. One step to take on such a glib student is to ask him if he has ever been taught to suppress reactions on words which, when he read them, he did not understand. One is asking him to take the suppress off. He will tell you immediately that he has been when this is true, and some emotional reaction can occur. One simply lets him talk about it until the charge seems to be off of it, and then gets him to start his M9ing again. Some of it may be left, of course, but he will gradually get into it and become more honest and more there. He thinks, of course, when you're M9ing him, that you simply want him to utter certain sounds. This is what he's been trained to expect. If he's supposed to read aloud, he's supposed to utter certain sounds. These sounds, of course, are meaningless to him, but that doesn't matter. Previously, his whole purpose and training pattern in reading aloud was narrowed into getting past, so it may be necessary for the supervisor to take up why he's being M9'd. But even though he's reading like a robot and suppressing everything, you will be able to see the suppression deepen when he hits the really big misuse. He reads them even more robotically than he does the other parts of the text, so these too can be detected. As soon as he's found a few of these things out and found out what you were trying to do, he will begin to respond much more readily with M9. Method 9 on common reading materials will show up a student's lack of reading comprehension and show up as misunderstood so that he can really see it for himself. It may be an entirely new idea to him that written pages and sound waves communicate something.
What the fuck? It may be an entirely new idea to him that written pages and sound waves communicate something. Why do you have written stuff down anyway, and why are there sound waves coming out of my mouth? That's meant to communicate something. That's a very basic concept. Why is that a new idea to someone? Hubbard, you make these people sound like they have an IQ of 12. Like, God, this is aggravating. It's aggravating how much he does this, how much he just makes people seem like complete fucking idiots.
Another method, an extreme one, of handling the extensively mistrained Glib student is to get him to read a paragraph and then employing a method known as a clay table to get him to demonstrate it. He won't be able to do so. Furthermore, he will realize he isn't able to do so. It was just sounds. Alright, method 9 on common reading materials.
I know this section goes for a bit long, so I'm probably going to stop at how to do method 9.
To do method 9 on common reading materials, the student chooses a paperback book or something that he reads for his own pleasure, and he reads it aloud to the word clearer. If he cannot read it perfectly, it's because he's gone by misunderstood words. At first, it may not be real to the student that he has misunderstood words. But after he's found and cleared a number of them using M9, the student will realize that he does have misunderstood words, and that his misunderstoods are getting in the way of his ability to read. When the student reaches the point of realizing that he does actually have misunderstood words on the materials he commonly reads for his own pleasure, he becomes very willing to find his own misunderstood words, and he can usually do so easily. Method 9 of common reading materials can be ended at this point. The student is now much more aware of and able to find and handle his own misunderstoods, and he's on his way toward reading naturally, correctly, and with understanding.
So, what did we cover today? We have learned, according to Hubbard, that current educational methods train students into glibness, into robotically answering back what the book says. Now, I kind of agree with what he says because a lot of the things that I've learned in school were pretty much gone the day I left the final exam. I don't remember the majority of what I learned in school, and it was a lot of memorization and just trying to get stuff out of the book without having a full grasp of why certain things were the way they were. So I agree that the education system is not as good as it could be in America. Students are actually instructed to go right on past words they don't understand. I don't know where he found this. As well as being taught to suppress reactions and go past MUs, and he says this quote, "The discovery of the effects of an MU and the reasons for such stumbles had not been discovered. Thus teachers invented drills to force students not to make comprehension errors." Again, prove it. Glib students sound and look robotic when reading. Ask the student if he was taught to suppress reactions on misunderstoods. By talking about it, the student will be releasing charge so he can then start his M9ing. The student will start by reading as he was quote-unquote taught in school, using suppression and sounding robotic until they realize what's going on. They will be more likely to respond with method 9. Quote, "It may be an entirely new idea to him that written pages and sound waves communicate something." How fucking stupid do you think we are? I mean, this goes with your whole people can't read or hear thing. So I guess that's where that comes from. But still, just to say that makes humanity sound like complete idiots. But that's just a Hubbard thing that he does. You can also ask a student to read a paragraph and use the clay table to demonstrate it. Since he won't be able to at first, he'll realize that he wasn't fully absorbing his materials. To do M9 on common reading materials, the student chooses something they've read for pleasure and reads it to the word clearer. After finding and clearing words with method 9, realizing that they do have them, they will know that the words get in the way of his reading ability. The student will realize he has MUs on his own materials and will become willing to find those MUs. Just, again, a lot of MU stuff and being glib. But this is going on for way too long. I probably have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 videos left on this. I'm not looking forward to it, but at least we'll be done with this this bulletin within the next few videos. So if you want access to any of these documents, whether that's the flag orders, base orders, policy letters, technical bulletins, any of that sort, any of the stuff that I have in the Google Drive folder, feel free to email me at scientologeek@gmail.com, which is in the description, or you can also go to the Discord server, which I will also be putting in the description, in order to then send me a message there, DMing me with a valid Gmail address, or just pop in and say hi, join the servers, see if you like it. I will talk to all of you later. See ya.